Well, the Senate Homeland Security Committee is holding a hearing on what it's calling threats to the homeland. The director began giving his opening statements a short time ago. Play some of that for you.
That what we face and what we're doing to tackle them are always important, but it seems especially well-timed this year with the dangerous implications the very fluid situation in the Middle East has for our homeland security. The reality is that the terrorism threat has been elevated throughout 2023, but the ongoing war in the Middle East has raised the threat of an attack against Americans in the United States to a whole nother level. Since the horrific terrorist attacks committed by Hamas against innocent people in Israel a few weeks ago, we've been working around the clock to support our partners there and to protect Americans here at home. We assess that the actions of Hamas and its allies will serve as an inspiration, the likes of which we haven't seen since ISIS launched its so-called caliphate several years ago. In just the past few weeks, multiple foreign terrorist organizations have called for attacks against Americans and the West. Al-Qaeda issued its most specific call to attack the United States in the last 5 years. ISIS urged its followers to target Jewish communities in the United States and Europe. Hezbollah has publicly expressed its support for Hamas and threatened to attack U.S. interests in the Middle East. And we've seen an increase in attacks on U.S. military bases overseas carried out by militia groups backed by Iran. Here in the United States, our most immediate concern is that violent extremists, individuals or small groups, will draw inspiration from the events in the Middle East to carry out attacks against Americans going about their daily lives. That includes not just homegrown violent extremists inspired by a foreign terrorist organization, but also domestic violent extremists targeting Jewish or Muslim communities. We've already seen that with the individual we arrested last week in Houston, who'd been studying how to build bombs and posted online about his support for killing Jews. And with the tragic killing of a 6-year-old Muslim boy in Illinois and what we're investigating as a federal hate crime. But as I said a few moments ago, on top of the homegrown violent extremists and domestic violent extremist threat, we also cannot and do not discount the possibility that Hamas or another foreign terrorist organization may exploit the current conflict to conduct attacks here on our own soil. We have kept our sights on Hamas and have multiple ongoing investigations into individuals affiliated with that foreign terrorist organization. And while historically our Hamas cases have identified individuals located here who are facilitating and financing Hamas's terrorism overseas, we're continuing to scrutinize our intelligence to assess how the threat may be evolving. But it's not just Hamas. As the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism, the Iranians, for instance, have directly or by hiring criminals mounted assassination attempts against dissidents and high-ranking current and former U.S. government officials, including right here on American soil. And along those lines, Hezbollah, Iran's primary strategic partner, has a history of seeding operatives and infrastructure, obtaining money and weapons, and spying in this country going back years. Given that disturbing history, we are keeping a close eye on what impact recent events may have on those groups' intentions here in the United States and how those intentions might evolve. For example, the cyber targeting of American interests and critical infrastructure that we already see conducted by Iran and non-state actors alike, we can expect to get worse if the conflict expands, as will the threat of kinetic attacks. But across the country, in each and every one of the FBI's 56 field offices, we are addressing these threats with a sense of urgency. Among other things, that means working closely with our federal, state, and local partners through our FBI-led Joint Terrorism Task Forces to ensure that together we stay laser focused on mitigating threats. Taking an even closer look at existing investigations and canvassing our sources to improve our intelligence, and then sharing that information with our partners. And doing all we can, working with our partners to protect all houses of worship and people of all faiths.
All right, so we're going to pull away from the FBI director now, but we are going to sort of keep an eye on the two hearings that are taking place. The Senate Homeland Security Committee listening to the FBI Director Christopher Wray talking about Homeland Security concerns, and then the other Senate hearing that's happening with the Appropriations Committee with the Secretary of State and the
Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.
What's up, family? What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to another exciting live stream, another edition of Random Topic Sundays on channel gboot2786 on Gavin Richard, our backup channel. Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you're blessed and doing safe. We're also on Facebook. We're also on X. It used to be Twitter, as you now know. Welcome, everyone. Smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes on my gboot2786 page, ladies and gentlemen. I have an active poll going on. We're talking about, I called it Random Topics, but it's really just one topic I want to talk about tonight. There are some other things, of course, going on, family. I see the Black Authority is going to be doing a show, a live stream basically, about how Donald Trump is beating Joe Biden in terms of black voters because black support is going down for the Democratic Party, which is true. That's very much true all around the country. As a matter of fact, we have elections going on here in November. They're expecting, we had an election back in October for governor and some other seats that were available here in Louisiana. And y'all know Roly Poly and others were upset because Jeff Landry won the governor's seat. Now, not that I'm inspired by Jeff Landry. A lot of stuff he does disturbs me. I'm not impressed with him. But at the same time, pick some fucking candidates that are actually going to be good. Pick candidates that are worth a damn, that people can go out to vote for. I'm not saying they have to be perfect. Nobody is. But you cannot have, let's put it this way. You can't have a 5-class restaurant with 1-star staff. You can't have a 5-star restaurant and run it with 1-star staff or management. And that's essentially what the Democratic Party has been. in the last, I want to say 60 years. Black people have always bailed out this party, no matter what. We saw it in 2020. Black women came out to the polls. They had sold to the polls for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris because they wanted an AKA. And we now know what we've seen. They didn't do a damn thing. So the point is, give something people can vote for with all of that. And, we still have the AG's race that's coming up. There's early voting going on right now in New Orleans, in Louisiana for that. So early voting is up. And none of the candidates, honestly, while I can do my research on it, I'm not impressed with any of them. So they're even expecting a lower voter turnout for this race. It has not been good. We only had 18% of Louisiana actually show up that was registered to vote. And we're talking about voting, not so much. We're discussing the comments by the FBI Director Christopher Wray, who warned of terror attacks that could be plaguing the United States, inspired by the Hamas terror attacks in Israel. And if you paid close attention to the video and what he was stating, he was talking about attacks from, you listen very carefully, and I'll play it again. He was talking about how there had been an increase in terror attacks against people because of their religion and so forth. I'm going to play it one more time.
Through our FBI-led joint terrorism task forces to ensure that together we stay laser focused on mitigating threats, taking an even closer look at existing investigations and canvassing our sources to improve our intelligence, and then sharing that information with our partners, and doing all we can, working with our partners to protect all houses of worship and people of all faiths.
All right, so we're going to pull away from the FBI
Talk
director.
about what we can do, taking our resources to protect people and in all sorts of faiths. Never once in this 5-minute clip, and maybe it's in a longer clip, I don't know. You don't hear anything about Black people. Remember what we had in Buffalo last year. Remember what we also had a few years ago in 2015 at Mother Emanuel Church. And also what happened recently out in Jacksonville this past summer, where you had a white supremacist who went into that Dollar General and opened fire on Black people. You have not heard the FBI speak on this. Julie wrote, I would like for you to do some research. I would urge you to do some research on military strategy employed by Hamas and Hezbollah before believing warmongers like Tony Blinken. But you haven't even heard the rest of the show yet, so why don't you listen carefully before you make that judgment? I haven't talked about whether I believe this or not. The question, Julie, is I asked, are we prepared? That's the question that I have. I'm not saying that what they're stating is true or false or any other way. We're just having a discussion, and I'm asking people, do you think the United States is ready? And I'm also asking people, are you worried or bothered by it? Because that is what I put in the poll. Are you all concerned about any potential terrorist attack in the United States? And so far on that poll, if you go to my channel, GBoo2786, it's 50-50. So it's split down the middle. 50% say yes, 50% say no. Now, y'all excuse me because I haven't come on the screen. I'd rather just I didn't want to come on. Okay, I see what you're saying, but this is my platform and I'm having an open discussion. I'm not spreading fear. It's a question. It's a question. And there have been they got other channels across YouTube who have talked about it. So no, don't come in. Willie D just had a whole video about the FBI, talking about the FBI director's comments, stating how we could be ready for World War III. I'm not saying that, that's not my platform, but people are entitled to their opinion. And honestly, we do have to ask questions like this because war is a very, I wasn't around when I was of course, around like many of you when Pearl Harbor happened. My grandfathers were around. My grandfathers were actually drafted into the Army and enlisted in the Navy, respectively, when that happened. Both of my grandparents. And that was something, I never experienced. My father was around in Vietnam, and luckily my father didn't serve in Vietnam. He had friends and he had cousins who served. Some of his friends didn't make it back. I also have family and relatives I know who fought in the Gulf War, in the War on Terror out here with George W. Bush when 9/11 happened. So it's a very real thing. And, 9/11, I have issues and concerns about that. I will not share on YouTube right now. But I've had questions about that. I've had questions really about where our military, what happened with our military and the strategy that was employed under the direction of George W. Bush, who I thought to me, was one of the worst presidents we ever had. But suddenly Donald Trump takes the cake. Now, just looking at this poll, I see, and obviously it's not that many people that vote. It's not like it's 100 people, but 8 of you say if it's 8 votes, and you can look here, 4 votes, it's just split even. So some say yes, some say no. So I take it from Julie's comments, Julie is not worried. Am I mistaken? Because you're saying that these kind of questions these kind of rhetorics are the usual tactics employed by anti-Arab and pro-Zionist attack. So do you think this is just warmongering on the part of the FBI director? Now, I can say this in fairness, and I think there's another reason why some of us may be hesitant on believing what the Christopher Wray has stated is because the FBI director, or the FBI in general, has not been that friendly to Black people in this country. This is the same FBI that, let's not forget, the same FBI through their department with J. Edgar Hoover authorized the illegal wire and tap search of Black civil rights activists, but also playing a role in orchestrating the death of leaders like Mark Clark, Fred Hampton, and I would also add Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. to that. And there are countless others we don't even know about. But dealing with that, and also and just putting that aside, do you think there could be some relevance to it? Bernie Mac once made a joke about how he wasn't, he made a joke, if you remember in the Kings of Comedy, he said, wait till shit happen. Won't be ready. I know you motherfuckers when he's talking about Y2K. You're buying batteries and bread and all that stuff. You're buying some blankets. You're buying toilet paper. I remember that joke. And even with COVID-19 happened, we just had COVID 3 years ago. Remember, people were buying up toilet paper. There was a toilet shortage. There was a shortage there here in New Orleans. There also was for a brief time a shortage on water because they were worried about the saltwater intake that was increasing in the river. And, the fear, let's put it this way, fear can motivate prices. Fear can cause somebody to do something out of emotions, because when you're doing something emotional, you're not thinking. You're not using constructive criticism. You're not using constructive tactics to analyze a situation. So, and I'm not a military strategist, don't claim to be. And I don't know what information that the FBI director has, but here's my thing. Black people in this country, and I'm speaking as a black man, we have had to deal with terror threats for centuries in this country. So this is not the first time we've had to live through this. And we have also been the participants in every major war that you can think of, going back to the American Revolution. Well, I'm not just concerned, Julie, about black issues. I'm a black man, so yes, black issues would be a center of this channel, but that is not the. I'm not limited to just black issues. I see myself also as an American. I pay taxes here. I work here. My voice deserves to be heard on some issues, just like everyone else. I think that we're open to anybody. We have free dialogue here. And I just talk about stuff like this. I, most of the time I'm also laid back. I talk about fun stuff as well. We do all types of things. As if you know the channel. So far, I'm just looking at the votes, and if you go on my channel, the nays have it. 67% of you say you're not concerned about a potential terrorist attack in the U.S. Well, thank you, Julie. I'm glad that you are part of the audience. I appreciate you being here. I take it. Did you watch the live stream Tuesday for Halloween? We did a whole hour basically on Michael Jackson and what happened with the uh, Billboard charts and how they took him out of the top Halloween songs, just basically to throw shade at him. There's been an attempt to whitewash Michael Jackson, and not just Michael Jackson. I'll add Bill Cosby, I add Kobe Bryant, I'll add Jim Brown, a bunch of black men who have done stuff, who have made an impact in pop culture, and they try to shame them. Yeah. Yeah, well, if you just go to, matter of fact, I'll put the link in the chat so you can actually go and see it. But 67%, just getting back to the topic at hand here, many of you agree with that, or would agree, it seems, if it's no, that this is just fear mongering, that you're not concerned about the Hamas attacks. I don't really, I've been the person, and this is just basically where I'm going with this conclusion. When we have situations like this where we're concerned about terror attacks and so forth, there is nothing wrong with being prepared. I'd rather be prepared and not needed than be unprepared and needed. You dig my meaning? It's the same thing with guns. I'd rather have a gun and not need it than to need it and not have it. So I don't see a problem with being prepared with certain things, having your finances together, having weapons and so forth. I don't have an issue with it. But I'm not one to be intimidated and be enticed to do something out of fear. And I think we all have to be careful when we see things like this. And you're right, Julie, we should read up on stuff. I agree wholeheartedly. Never be ignorant on something. See, ignorance people think is a bad word, but being ignorant just means you just don't know. Stupid just means you avoid all common sense. So I wasn't going to be long with this live stream, guys. I actually was going to be relatively short. I just had stuff I was going to talk about and just pushing this. But what did you all think so far? This wasn't going to be a long live stream. I have some other stuff I got to do. I have a buddy in town I was going to link up with. But let everybody know. I want everybody in the chat, tell me what you think. Are you prepared? Are you a person that waits until things happen? Are you ready for the nuclear holocaust? What are you Bert from Tremors? Do you have are you Bert from Tremors? Do you have like your underground bunker with all your food supplies and stuff? I know people who, and I know some people like that. Yeah. I gotta do a whole live stream. So I just think about that. I gotta do a whole live stream on Joe Smith about him and his wife. Well, I guess soon to be ex-wife, because he found her with OnlyFans, and apparently, according to her, she walked out. He walked out. But I gotta do a whole live stream on that. And anyway, smash up the likes. Smash up the likes. It's okay, Julie. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Donate to the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. If you love me for my time, then pay me for my time. Hey, look, I'm not a person that begs for donations, but they're appreciated. As you know, the channel's not monetized. YouTube is on there. You know what? So yeah, if you ever, I mean, look, I've been up on politics, stuff like this since I was in college, or a little bit before that. Even I was about 14 years old when George Bush, y'all remember when Bush got the presidency? Really, he was selected. He wasn't elected. The Supreme Court helped him win that nomination for president. They helped him with that election. That's as long as I've been on. That's as long as I've been on politics in this country and monitoring stuff like that and reading about, like hearing about the Grand Chessboard by Noam Chomsky. That's how who Obama's mentor, not Noam Chomsky, Zbigniew Brzezinski. I'm sorry. Noam Chomsky is someone else. Zbigniew Brzezinski is, his daughter, who's from Morning Joe. That's his daughter. She's married to Joe. And Zbigniew Brzezinski was Barack Obama's mentor. Yeah, Joe Scarborough's wife. Mika Brzezinski. Yeah, her father was Zbigniew. Yeah, read his book, The Grand Chessboard. And basically, it was about how the U.S. could conquer basically the Middle East by getting the oil reserves. Now, it looks like we don't do that now because Biden actually, they shut down the oil reserves out in the Pacific. Remember, we have our oil prices are so damn high. Gas is so high. And I learned, and I was reading about this. Do you know that the United States is not controlled, is not under OPEC? It's one of 3 nations that is not part of OPEC. OPEC is the one who sets the gas prices. We're not part of it. Something is definitely wrong. Yeah, Zbigniew Brzezinski was the national security advisor under Johnson. Well, he was under Jimmy Carter, but he was counselor going back to LBJ. I'm looking at my chat too. I'm just trying to see how many people have voted. Let's see if y'all voted for this, if your vote count. But yeah, man, people got to be ready. So it's back to 50-50 out of 8 votes. So, wow. So it's dead even. We got half people who are concerned, some who are not. So we got some Tremors fans out here who've watched Burt Gunner. I'm going to end the poll, though. But I'm going to get up out of here. But yeah, you all smash up the likes. I wasn't going to do a long live stream. But we're going to be back probably Tuesday to talk a little bit more about this, man. But in the meantime, you all be safe, be blessed. Shout out to you, Julie, and everyone else. Make sure you purchase the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby on Amazon Kindle. And I will see you all in the next one, all right? Be one, be safe, and be blessed. I'll holla. Peace.